So we're recording the session, but in case if we
Wow, we're
say,
live now.
yeah, we're not really live, but if we have to edit anything, I'll remove it just in case, or you can tell me to remove some material. But first of all, I would like just to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. It is really nice seeing you after how many years? Man,
Probably five.
yeah, five. I met, what do you call it, Valentin at Deauville. This was
Hey,
just
told
during,
me.
yeah, I met him there. I said, I'm in Deauville. And he's like, sure, I'm coming over. And it was really nice meeting him. But most of my students go to Deauville during the vacation. So I didn't say anything on Instagram. I said, no, just between you and me, I'm here. But you're in Paris, right?
Yeah, still in Paris, living here. Love
So,
it.
so what are you doing? I mean, you have your own company now?
Yes, I just started my own company 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Basically the same that I used to do. It's a headhunting company to find the best talent, the best tech talent for startup.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I used to do that in a tech recruitment company for during 4 years, right after ABS.
Okay. Yeah, I remember you were hiring for a company like a startup, and then Valentin told me that you are pursuing your own company, and I'm like, wow, that's actually pretty cool. I was very surprised, but I know you have what's the word? The talent and also the brains for it. You know, I know you were that sort of guy who would prefer to work on your own, because just like in the classroom, I know you were kind of solo. You would work solo, you would do things on your own, but you were, what's the word I would say, self-managed, autonome, as they say en français. Okay, right?
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind
So,
of.
kind of, yeah, but I think you have that. And I think it might suit you as well but if you ever plan on coming back to the corporate world and working with other people, would you work for a bigger company or would you go back to
No, no
startup?
way. I really like startups and small company because it's more agile, as we say in French. It's more flexible. You can do whatever you want. You have this ownership value that is really important. You can have impact directly, and I really need this for myself. I know I like to have some impact.
Wonderful.
And basically best for me,
Right.
I guess.
Okay, so just a few maybe personal questions regarding maybe our audience would be interested. Would you mind giving us a little bit about your background, like your education, where you grew up, or your general international experiences or professional experiences? We would just like to hear some things about that.
All right. Big picture.
Yeah, big picture.
Well, I'm from France, raised and born in Normandy, a little area in west of France. I've done all my primary school, high school, and everything there. Then I decided to move to Prague, in the New York University of Prague, start of the international studies. I just wanted to do my studies in English because it was a disaster and I needed to improve it for business. I guess it's better now, but it's not perfect.
Nothing is perfect. Hey, I know if you go to England, nobody speaks English in England. They're like, in it, oh, you want a bowl of water? I'm like, I don't understand what you're saying. Don't be so stupid. What's stupid? Oh, you mean stupid? I don't understand. I went to the US. People don't speak English over there. It was like, ain't nobody got time for that. I'm like, do you mean nobody has time for this? Or ain't nobody got time for that means does everyone have time for it? I don't understand. Okay, so your English is way better when you go to Anglophone countries. Good luck with Australia. It's even much more tougher.
Yeah, sure. That's a different word. So clearly, I start in Prague in Czech Republic. I really liked it, and I decided to go on. But I needed to go back to France because, for obvious reasons, Prague was cheap. I had beer for 20 cents, so I just passed one class in a year. So yeah, it was kind of advice from my parents to come back in France and have a look on me, so they can have a look on me. So I decided to join American Business School of Paris. I decided to graduate in marketing because it was easier, and for a lazy person, for me, it was better than finance. You could cut that if you want later.
I'm leaving it. I'm leaving it. This is the part we want to hear. But you didn't pursue really marketing. You pursued recruitment business, which is more of an HR specialization.
Well, yeah, basically during my last year of ABS, I joined a Whiteboarder, which was a platform for tech recruitment as well. And I did that at the same time with the school.
Mm-hmm.
In the same time with the school, and then I had to do my my final internship to graduate.
Mm-hmm.
So I did my final internship there. After that internship, they proposed me to join MobiSkill, which is the recruitment tech company. And I thought that was a good opportunity. You know, I used to spend more than a year with the people there, and I really liked the atmosphere. I knew I had a lot to learn there, and that teach me a lot. And yeah, that was a good opportunity that I didn't want to miss. I didn't want to, look for a job. I really didn't know what I wanted to do then. So that was a good opportunity to discover something and see if I like it.
Right. Here's the thing. Now, you might have said this subconsciously, but this is the question on most of people's mind when they're close to graduation. And nowadays they have this question, I can't find a job. And I said, well, are you looking for a job or are you looking for a career? And then there's a person like you said, I don't know, I'll take whatever comes my way and see if I like it. So what could be, other than the questions I've asked, maybe it could be similar. We'll go through those questions.
Yeah,
but
I think it's yeah.
What made you take this jump? Like, okay, I'll just dive in here and see how it goes. What was the feeling? Was you like, I don't know what I want, and I'll see if I like it? Or was it boredom? It's like, I'm bored and I want to do a job. What was it that?
Well, you know me. I'm personally convinced that you learn much more thing and faster in companies than at school. Mm-hmm. At school, it's really how do you say
theory, chapter by chapter.
Yeah, and the experience comes from the company, and your first job, even internships are important. So I was like, I felt comfortable with people who were working there, and I was like, okay, just do it. I have nothing to lose by trying. Right. I'm young. I can start a career if I want to after that. But a first experience is always good to have.
Right, that's good. And I agree with you on this. And also, how about this question? When you were being recruited or were in the process of interviewing other companies, were there any questions in the interview that made you feel, I don't want to work with these people, or I want to work with these people? So maybe in the interview process that you felt some sort of chemistry, or you were like, they ask you a question and you're offended by, hey, you have my CV. Can't you see it's written there? Did something like that happen to you in your interviews?
Well, yeah, it's all about feelings, I guess, and all about related to the value and the culture the company have. When it's mainly money driving, without paying attention about the I don't know how to say, but the comfort of their employee, I would not pay attention to those companies. I think you can bring money to the company and have a relaxed atmosphere, mm-hmm. and a good atmosphere as well. So I'm just feelings that I'm gonna have with the boss, the partners, my direct manager, and the other people. That's really important. I always worked in a small company because I felt like I'm being part of a family, and that's what suits me best.
That's true. I feel the same way working at the American Business School. Actually, I've worked at other schools, but somehow there's a charm to this school, even with not just the administration, but I would say also with the students. I felt more at home. I'm no offense to any other schools listening, but it was my first school. It has been my first school in France, and the environment was, I would say, it allowed you to connect with the student, and the students also, they can evaluate the teacher twice. So you feel that the level of the student is not like they're your employee and you're the employer, or you're the subordinate and they're the subordinate and you're the superordinate. It didn't feel that way. But I've also done a few jobs back in the day, and my last job that I did was with a very, I wouldn't say a difficult boss, but he was quite demanding. However, I still felt comfortable working with him because of my skill level, but the environment too, the people who were working with me, they felt close. Even though it was a difficult person to work with, I wouldn't say he was a bad person, but no, he was demanding. However, the environment was fine. I never felt that stressed or something. But when I worked for a smaller company as a startup, at that time, I felt I needed mentoring, and I didn't get that. So, did you ever get a mentor when you started working?
Yeah, clearly. That's also a reason why I joined Mobiskill, the first company that I joined. Because they promised me to make me a machine, a war machine with recruitment. So that's one of the challenge that is really cool, that I'm gonna take for my future first employees. It's to make sure that they'll become someone. You really need to, the first experience is really important to know you better, and make sure you're doing the right call for you, taking the right call for you and for your career. So yeah, you have to teach your kids, and I have a mentor, and I have this chance to have a mentor. That was really important to me.
That's very good. Okay, so I'm going to now skip to our formal questions. So I think you
All right.
prepared the answers. I'm sorry, my eye is itching. I haven't slept well enough. I think it's because of the coffee. Maybe that's why. I should stop.
Yeah, pay attention on that. That's not good for your health.
It is not, but that's what makes me Baber, I guess. Always awake. I'm not sleep deprived. I just think I'm in front of the screen too much. But okay, so here are our questions, and okay. So for the audience, this is what I wrote to all the HR specialists in my network. One of them is, of course, Mr. Olivier Paul, and he will answer some of them, and I will just state some what are written. So if a candidate is from a business or background or business education and is applying for an internship, what are the three main qualities and or competencies you look for in them? Are there anything specific skills that are highly in demand for? No, that's the second part, but just the first part. What are the main qualities or competencies you look for them when they're applying right after maybe they finish their graduation or they finish their internship? So for you, what would you look for?
Well, in terms of qualities and not skills, right? I guess even if you're from your first internship or even your last internship or final internship, you need to learn a lot still. The first internship is just to have a look around of a real business world and a company, how it works, but you don't learn so much. You need to prepare yourself to get your first experience. So the three main qualities that I'm looking for, that I'm going to look in someone, is the eager to learn, the curiosity. Okay. An internship is still a front door of your career. We don't expect that you know everything, but we need you to be motivated to become the number one, to learn everything.
Right.
Be smart. I don't know if I can say that, but
why not? Why not? Explain what you mean by be smart. Meaning smart fashionably, or smart here, or smart in attitude and behavior? The whole package, maybe?
Maybe the whole package. I don't. I used to have some colleagues that always ask questions to the manager and people around them. That's really nice, but sometimes we don't have time to spend, with all the junior and all. I feel like today, for example, with new technology, you can find many answers online. Don't waste the time of the team when you can find them by yourself. As I've always said to people that I've managed, ask Google, then ask me.
Which is interesting. It brings me back to my first job. I was at a digital marketing company, and a really good colleague was a Moroccan guy. He was very funny. So the French guy, well, no offense to the race, but the French guy was quite junior to him, and he would constantly ask questions because he didn't have that sort of knowledge, but he said both of us, he said we are equal, we have equal pay, equal status, but he keeps asking me because he doesn't work. All right, so you know what he showed me? He showed this website where someone asks you a question, you copy paste that question and send it back to them, and it creates a fake link. When they open the link, it opens up Google and types in the question. Which is Google it.
That's perfect. That's perfect. I mean, Google is clearly better than me and knows clearly a lot of stuff, or much more than me. So ask Google and then ask me if you don't find. I'll help you if I can help you every time, but I don't have all the answers. And there is so many ways to work and do a task. So
yeah, that's true. I agree. And what would be the third quality?
Social intelligence for me is really important. You know, someone who will fit in team easily, someone who can easily have a beer with, you can easily have a beer with whom we are not afraid to push him or her in front of a client or a partner. You know, that's something
very interesting. I haven't heard that word. We can also use the word maybe someone who's very conscientious about themselves. Like, okay, this is the person I want to take with me to my next meeting. This is the person I want to sit with me in the team meetings and then represent or do that. This is a good word that you use, that social intelligence. You know, I like this word.
Yeah, well, for me, it's kind of the best intelligence you can have in your life. We used to have an interview from a biscuit because I was giving the interview at the end because I was a senior partner. Mm-hmm. And yeah, sometimes I had some of the top business school of friends, you know, HEC, ESSEC, and USCP, and there were some people there who were applying to my skill, and we didn't take them. Not because school was too high for us, kind of, but because they were like feeling that everything was giving to them because they've done a good school, you know, and which meant for them that they were intelligent. But intelligent is, you know, step back, listening, and just be aware of who you are, kind of.
That's also something good. So step back and be aware listen to people. Listening is a hard skill for many people nowadays. They like to talk, but they don't listen, which is very sad. It's also a part of relationship, and a relationship with your team and your management and your client. That's why I don't know if you believe in God or not, or if you believe in, I would say, creationism whatsoever, but we do have 2 ears and 1 mouth. So I think the effort for listening should be more than just speaking. So
that's a good one.
Yeah. Okay. So
let's keep it.
Okay, you can, but you don't have to quote me. It's license free, right? All right. So next is, are there any specific skills that are highly in demand for business students? Any specific skills, or maybe not?
Well, on that question, I'm not sure I have the right answers. You know, it really depends on the field you want to work. I mean, if you're applying for finance position, I mean, there are obviously some skills that a marketing person, that a marketing will not give you. I feel like today it's really important to be at really ease on computer, but that's kind of normal for everyone now, even you with your age. So, I mean, you know, I'm not thinking about any skills, any specific skills. I don't know if you had some.
No.
You can give an example.
I was actually going to recommend any skills to students to learn or to brush up if it's required. But maybe, of course, communication. We make them do presentations. We make them do group projects. There's only so much we can do as teachers. But if there anything else that are in demand but you're in HR, so you get tech people to come to you, and maybe they have to speak to clients. So what sort of level of skill or acumen you're looking for in maybe communication, in computers, anything specific?
Team player.
Okay, got that. Now, and which is quite tough for both students because they don't work or they start fighting each other, which is really bad. Very few people actually have the maturity to work together, which is very common. And I do the business games. I also do the innovation challenge at another school, and there's always teamwork. And some students end up fighting each other. Some students just back up, I'm not working. Some students say, sir, can I please work alone? Like, well, you live in this world, you have to work with people that you may not like. And so
yeah,
be
but
prepared.
that's still a good exercise.
Yeah.
It's still a good exercise because I've done it, and I remember I started to fight with Sarah and Kobo, which is my friend. So who is my friend? So I was kind of surprised to have a hangout with her. But yeah, I mean that it's good to have this kind of experience at school because it's building yourself, and it's giving you example of what it really is to have to work in a group. So
okay, I'll enforce that now, that you have to work in team, because during the pandemic it's become a new dynamic. Working on teams online has become quite difficult because communication is now, well, actually students love communicating on the phone with their friends, but now when it comes to work, it's not the same dynamic. You have to be more focused, and I find that it is actually quite tiring too. Even for teachers, when we're trying to get them to work online, it's exhausting. But this is the world we live in now. Maybe in the future, we never know if the pandemic part 2 will come, but we don't know. So
yeah, I actually saw a video online about a teacher from Central Paris who is explaining how he tried to teach online, via this kind of things, Zoom, Skype, and everything. And he's giving advice, and that's really good advice. I'm going to send it to you. It's in French, but still you can understand it. Sure.
I'll love to look at it. I'll try to translate it for my English viewers, but most of my viewers, as you know, at ABS are mostly French speaking. Okay, wonderful. So another question: in an interview, during interpersonal interactions, what are the attributes of a candidate that can cause you to reject them? For me, if someone laughs too much, like, I'm like, no, no, that's just joking. I'm just joking. But no,
of course.
But actually, this happened. I'm actually talking about back when I was doing my bachelor's in IT. My teacher, who was teaching us HRM, her husband owned an ISP, and she brought in recruiters from their HR department and IT department, and said they will interview you for a fake job. All right, so they actually rejected 2 people, and one of them was a girl.
You say rejected? It's rejected during the interview or
no,
after the interview?
They came back with
reject him from process. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So not just process. It's like, well, they spoke to her, and everyone was watching, everyone being interviewed, and they said, when you speak, it's okay to smile, but don't laugh nervously. You're like, and they didn't like that. They said you may be very qualified, but it felt as though you don't have the maturity to work with other people, so we would reject you. The other person would sit like this, it was for the interview. It's like, are we interviewing you or you're interviewing us? So, but the guy he said, I was very nervous, so I just sat like this. It's like, don't cross your arms, sit straight, like, have a nice posture, relax your shoulders, like I told you guys in class. They said we would reject you because we felt you might have been lying on your CV. So has there been a time when you rejected someone because in the interview you got the wrong impression about them, or a bad impression?
No, actually, I've never done that before because my philosophy and the philosophy that I've learned at Mobiscuit is that even if someone has, make something weird or say something weird or act weirdly during an interview, we're gonna try to deep and see who this person is really. So we try to finish the interview, but sometimes it's a disaster. I saw some people coming in the meeting room and didn't say hi, and it was like kind of people you can see and put their feet on the table, so I was like, oh dude, where do you think you are? But there is some obvious rules to go an interview. I mean, just put a shirt on. I don't know if it's a weird shirt. I don't know if it's not in your pants. But put a shirt on.
Yeah, wear a nice, decent shirt. My teacher, well, not really a teacher. She was a HR specialist, and she mentioned a few things. Like the color of your shirt. Saying and she said every boy should have one white shirt in their closet at all times. So white shirt makes you look smart. Nice dark blue, navy blue suit.
Yeah, it's
It,
fine. It's
yeah, it's
perfect
fine.
fine.
And a
Well,
light gray.
even without a suit, even a navy shirt, a casual shirt, it's fine. But a clean one was
A
been
clean
dried,
one.
and with a nice jean without any hole, and a dark one, it's fine. It's fine. I mean,
Who's that
but not
person?
yes, not in t-shirt with a leather jacket on and say, "Hi guys, you're lucky to meet me." No, no way.
I swear. I mean, we had this person come over for IT as a programming interview, but he was dressed very nicely, right? But the thing in my country, people are put off by tattoos and piercings. So he had one piercing here and two here, I think. But he dressed for the part. You could see a tattoo on his neck, but he was wearing a suit, very prim and proper, and what do you call it? Everyone accepted. It's like, yeah, we are ready to accept him. And one of the HR said, but what about his, what do you call it? His piercings. And even though we come from somewhat of a conservative background, nobody said anything about piercings. It's like, listen, he's different, but he's mature and he showed up on time. He dressed well. He spoke well. He was well mannered. He knows his stuff. What he has on his face and, as tattoos doesn't bother us. But he was, like you said, it was in the interview, is like, put their feet up. It's like, so what are we talking about? I think he's out the door. It's like, well, your rejection. Okay, let's move on to the next question. How can a candidate create a great first impression?
Well, as I say, the shirt, even casual is fine. Make sure you're not arrive as a tourist. It is necessary to prepare an interview, whatever it is. Learn about the company, try to understand their DNA, try to kind of fit their values. Values are mainly for startups today, because I really know the startup ecosystem. Startups are really making sure that the people they're hiring are a fit for their values. And they always have 4 or 5 keywords, team player, meritocracy, kind of things to highlight their values. Make sure you fit with those values, because they're going to ask you for that. And during the interview, ask questions about the prospect for development, about the atmosphere in the team, about your career plan you can have in this company. It's really nice to ask questions, because it means that you actually have interest for the job or the company, and you're not like a tourist, as I said, who is just applying for something because he has to apply because he's looking for a job, any job.
You mentioned something called the DNA of the company, and this is really funny. When we used to go to Aubonne. By the way, this semester I've not been there to Aubonne.
Wow, cool.
Yeah, exactly. It's been closed. It's been closed, and all the students are very happy. We're still going there. Not promoted to Parity Campus 100%, but I was driving there, and one day, one of my students in the morning, she messages me. All right. Now, being a girl, I would assume she would message a woman, maybe another teacher in the fashion industry, about her interview. And she took HR with me, right? So I was also teaching marketing, and she's like, Professor, I know you're awake because you wake up early. I am desperate right now. I have an interview at 3 p.m. I said, okay. And I said, call me. So I'm driving and talking to her. She said, Professor, thing is, I'm going to send you a few pictures. Can you tell me if this is appropriate for my interview at, I won't take the name of the company, but fashion, luxury, retail, all right? I looked at the dresses. I said, the dresses are okay, but don't wear a dress. Wear a suit pant. She's like, well, I have pants. I have a nice shirt I can wear with it, very like dull colored, nothing too bright. But I don't have a suit or jacket. I said, what's your budget for a suit? She's like, I can spare $50. I'm like, okay. What time is the interview? It's like 3:30 p.m. Okay. Are you in the heart of Paris? She said, yeah. I'm like, go to Zara. Go to Zara and buy a nice suit. And she did. She actually sent me, she bought a suit. She sent me pictures. And I said, you know what? Let me give it to my wife when I came back home. And my wife advised her what color. She said, okay, this is fine. Just get it. It's 35 euros. So she walked in for the interview, sat down. They had conversation. She got hired. But you know what the interviewer said to her? I really like the way you dress. It's very impressive. And I've said, there you go. So
Cool.
you understood the DNA of the company or the person, that you're approaching them from all angles. But don't forget, it's also about
and it's
chemistry.
really important for those kind of companies. So
Yeah, it's very important. So if I'm interviewing for, let's say, an IT company for the programming department, I probably can walk in a t-shirt and jeans, but make sure my t-shirt is nice and appropriate. It's clean, or a sweater.
yeah,
Even jeans is fine, but not walk in.
sometimes I have weird stories. So.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, wonderful. So let's go to the next question. Should the candidate negotiate their salary or talk about salary in their initial interview? Now, this question is actually focused on the French market. Okay, because it's quite weird. Some students are afraid to negotiate their salaries, and I said no.
Yeah, it's about culture. I mean, in US you can talk easily about money and salary, but not in France. It's about the whole culture we have, but it's clearly getting better. I mean, what I see in the startup system, that you can talk about money, you can talk about salary. Personally, well, it depends about the field, because sometimes, I mean, for some engineers that I'm following up for their recruitment, I ask them to give their salary expectation at the beginning of the process, not maybe the first interview. Well, sometimes the first interview is with HR, so that's the appropriate time to talk money with.
Right.
Because the HR department is going to take care of that mainly.
Okay.
But personally, I'm recruiting salesperson for my company to join my team, because headhunting job is like a sales job purely.
Right.
So you're getting a big part of your salary by commission.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I have candidates in final process that did not ask for the commission process, try to know how it works, how it's calculated. So it just tells me that this person is applying for a sales job. I don't pay attention on money, which is a big warning for me, because I want people who pay attention on that, because the big plus of this job is to make money easily. Well, not easily, but rapidly for a career beginner. Okay. So if you don't mind about that, you're maybe not the good person. I mean, when I joined Mobiskill, I was clearly able to calculate how much money I can make by recruiting how many people by month.
Right. Okay. So this is a good thing. They should, maybe some part of the process of the interview should ask for what is their salary going to be, and maybe negotiate like a higher one. Not just say, okay, I'm happy, I'm joining. They might even label you as being, gullible, I suppose.
Even if it's your first job, your first experience, you're gonna work for a company that will compensate by giving you money. You have to be aware of how much money, and you have to be, I mean, this is something who's going well with experience, but then you're moving from a job to another one, sometimes to make plus money. So you're gonna ask it directly, because you're not happy with your actual compensation. But even for your first experience, you have to ask. I mean, don't be afraid to ask. That's right. Clearly normal. You're gonna work, and you're gonna be compensated for that.
And the thing, I think they have hesitation because they feel kind of bad asking for salaries. Like, no, it feels wrong. Yeah. And I told them, listen, you are going to be an asset to the company. They're going to train you, and you're going to pay back. So your effort and hard work is going to be remunerated. Don't be afraid to ask. So you're right on this. So I'm going to show this clip. Say, see, you have to ask for your salary. Right. We're on the second last question.
And just a small advice when HR people or when people ask you what's your salary expectation, the bad move is to give a fork. I'd like between 32 and 36. No, because you are telling them that you are okay if it's 32, but exactly. You would prefer 36. No, just think about the value you want, and if it's 35, just say 35. If they think about 34, they will tell you. But
yeah, they say, oh, 34, done. It's like, no, it's
yeah.
36. But how about 34? Well, we can meet around 35.5.
Yeah, sure.
And then they do that. I did that with my first salary, where they're with the companies I started working with. The first one, they not even in Pakistan, but over here, the guy is thinking me being an immigrant will take 20,000 less per annum. And I'm like, excuse me, I'm an MBA. Please don't be insulting. I clearly told you my salary expectation are way above this. You're shooting me 20,000 low. And he's like, okay, can we meet halfway? I said, no, that would be still very bad for me. I said, well,
Yeah.
what could be your biggest margin? I said, now, okay, what could you offer? And I will think about it. Then they came back with the good offer, which actually was my initial price. Let's say if I wanted to earn 45, I said 55. That was it. You know, it's a joke from this joke about this what do you call it? A very rich kid from Saudi Arabia. He's living in the US with a friend. He's going outside and he sees a man in a Lamborghini. It's like, wow, a Lamborghini. I'm going to ask my dad to buy me a Lamborghini. We're in the US. So he goes home to his dorm and calls his dad, and his friend is listening. Dad, I want to buy a private jet. It's like, no, you cannot have a private jet. Why don't you buy a Lamborghini instead? Okay, Dad, that's fine. Puts down the phone. And his friend say, why the hell do you ask for a commercial jet? You say, listen.
Well, you need a really rich dad.
Yeah, you need a rich dad. But my dad is rich, but he will always ask for something lower. So a Lamborghini is what I wanted. So I upscaled to a commercial jet. And then he brought it down to what I actually wanted. So inflating maybe your salary expectation by 5,000 per month or 10,000 per month is not wrong. And I think I also tell my students, especially from the ABS, listen, you're coming from dual education, American system, you have international competencies. I said, use that to your advantage too. You know, don't be shy. But this is a good point. I'm going to make sure people listen to this one. There are just two more questions, but the second last one
sure.
is, has there been a candidate that impressed you even though they may not have been very qualified for the vacancy?
Yes, because all of the candidates that well, it's kind of sad to say that, but you know, we are this is not a way that we have people who are really prepared for the interview. So any person who's come fully prepared for the interview is going to impress me, because even if at the end that's not the good fit for us, or that's not the good fit for him or her, I felt someone who really has the eager to find a job, and the seriously to join a company. So it's fine, but don't come to prepare and skip the human part, because sometimes it's that like there is a lack of sincerity and instinct.
Or what's the thing? People prepare for questions. I think I mentioned it to you guys before. If someone asks you what are your 3 strengths and 3 weaknesses, say that
I hate that question.
I hate that question too, but you're very good looking, you're extremely charming, and you are good. If let's say you want to apply for a marketing job, say you're good at marketing. Your 3 weaknesses, you can say you're bad at dancing, you're bad at singing, and you're bad at finance. And they'll be awkward, but they will say, okay, we understand. You say, look, it's written in my CV. If you're asking this question, I think that is also what do you call a warning sign for the candidate. It's like, but I just gave you my CV, you know, everything is written there. So it also can become inhuman if you come too prepared. My weakness is I work too hard. It's like, well, we don't want hard work.
Yeah.
So bye. It can happen. It can happen.
It's always the same thing.
Yeah. All right. Last question. Many young people, especially graduates, are facing a tough time getting an interview. What advice do you have for them? Now, this is a sincere question. It doesn't have to be a professional one, but what advice would you have for people who are not able to get interviews at all?
Well, from my experience, just stop being sure what you want to do. The business offers many fields of possibilities in terms of profession. Mm-hmm. So if you can't find exactly what you want, try other things. Yes, luxury looks good, finance looks good, but today there are many startups. I'm mainly talking about startups because I'm mainly working with startups, so I know this market. But today, yeah, there's many startups which are struggling to recruit, given their growth, and they're all kind of, even if they're mainly in digital, they're all linked to another market. You can be a new SaaS software platform for which is tech, obviously, but for luxury market. So there's always a bridge between the digital company and another kind of field. So try to look at that, and just try something because it's not because you I've majored in marketing and I've never done marketing after school.
But recruitment is also marketing. Remember, I think I told you that in marketing you have to recruit salespeople or specialized people in product. For example, when I interned at Roche Pharmaceuticals when I was doing my MBA. So they had a product manager who had also a doctorate degree, like an MBBS, and there was a specialized sales representative with them. So like this, and I've seen some of the ex-students from my different schools, they're working in places I would never imagine. I mean, they're working for such technical companies, and it works. I think they would like to say they shoot their shot and they got it. And all that matters later on is they will learn everything else later. So I agree with you. Take a risk, apply to places that may not seem very comfortable, or according to your CV. If it's always about fashion luxury, apply to supply chain. Maybe the Koopel supply chain depot is close to my house. The other one of Chanel is also close to my house, but they don't say Chanel outside of Koopel's, but they're working with them. They're part of their supply chain, and it matters because back-end jobs pay way more than maybe the glamorous, sexy jobs of front-end jobs. But you're basically a back-end person. You're recruiting people for the strategic purposes. So, and you're enjoying it, and now you have your own company. That's great. I think, do I have any more question? No. Well, even though we have talked almost for an hour, if you would,
we're gonna catch up.
Yeah, we gotta catch up too. But I have this. What's the word? Now, you've been how many years have you been working professionally? Since
for 5 years.
For 5 years, okay.
I mean, do you have to include my internships and all?
Yeah, well, you can include that, so yeah, that'll be fine. Why not?
Oh yeah, 5 or 6 years.
5 or 6 years. So you're still fresh in the market, because there's usually this joke about people want a person fresh graduate with 10 years of experience. But these sort of companies are also a red flag for many people. Happened to my brother, God rest his soul. The company contacted him. They said, we're looking for a fresh graduate with 10 years of experience. It's like, so you wanted me to graduate at the age of 14?
Yeah.
They're like, oh no, we didn't mean that. And it's like, what do you mean? And I put this also on my LinkedIn. The guy who created a certain type of software, right? I forgot. I think it was Swift. It's for animation using Flash code. And yeah. So he went to do an interview for the people asking that we wanted experience, and they said we need 8 years of experience in Swift. He's like, sure, but do you know Swift came out 5 years ago? He's like, no, that's not true. He's like, it is true, because I made the language. I made that program, and they were very embarrassed. And this happened to me as well.
That's clearly a red flag.
That's clearly a red flag. Happened in my country too. Some companies at that time, .NET, Microsoft .NET programming languages and suite just recently came out. In the newspaper, every other company saying we're recruiting .NET programmers with 3 years experience. How is that even possible? It just was released, 3 years experience. So I did went for an interview to these places. They felt like they just opened the office to supply software to external sources such as the US or maybe Germany and all, but they were not really software houses. So these are also red flags. But maybe going through, I mean, do you also recommend students visit like an HR specialist to help them find jobs or not?
Well, there are many tools today. Of course, recruitment agencies are one of them. You can for business jobs, you can call Up2. It's UPTOO. It's a recruitment agency, is mainly focused on the business developer, salesperson, finance, marketing. So that's pretty fine. And then there are new tools. You can, I don't know if you know the website Welcome to the Jungle.
Yeah, a lot of my French students have mentioned that. Welcome to the jungle. I told
it's the best website today to really see the DNA, the values of the company, because they're highlighting this on the website, and you can see the open position. So you can sometimes apply even if there is no open position. So that's a really good tool. That's all my friends are using it to recruit for their company or try to find a new company to work for. I mean, there are many tools to use. And you can. It's kind of hard to because we for the record I can how do you say, for the companies who's gonna ask me for my service are gonna pay me kind of a lot to find the best talent. I'm gonna hand him or her in a company, in another company. So they are looking mainly for experienced engineers, because it's kind of harder to get them, to catch them. For young graduate people, they are not often proposed by or follow up by recruitment agencies, because I don't know, it's easier to find them for the companies, so they don't need to pay a service to find them. They pay a job teaser to make sure they have the best student from the best schools. But then they have many applications from young students. So I mean, you have to apply a lot. Quantity is a secret. You cannot apply to 3 or 4 jobs and just wish you're gonna be chosen. So just apply to many different things, and see. And even the exercise of making a lot of interview, it's gonna make you progress in this exercise, and you will feel you will feel better for the next interview.
Right. This is something my friend also, we're doing the podcast together. We highlighted, some students come up to us and say, we applied for jobs, we got no answer. How many CVs did you send out? 10. That's it? Man, dude, when I came to France, I have a folder of 600 of my CVs that I sent out, 0 reply. Okay, 600. But I kept doing it. Sylvester Stallone was rejected by 700 companies for his acting skills because he had that issue. Couldn't, hey, yo, Adrian, he couldn't speak. But I remember I kept on applying. I'm like, no, I'll apply. And I got my chance. But this is a good thing you said, to keep trying. With that being said, Olivier, I will try to finish this podcast. You should
come back sometimes if you want.
You should. I asked also, whenever I see my old student, I feel they're the best people to come in and lecture, because you guys are closer to the students than I am. I'm 41 years old with 3 kids. Students can't relate to a guy like me. As I grow older, I also lose touch with the reality of the job market. But you guys are much more closer, and you guys, if you come to lecture students, they will be asking probably the same questions. So I would want to see you in my classroom one day, and whenever you are free, just let me know and I'll just pull you in.
Something that could be really nice, I guess, it's to sometimes any old student that comes to class and present his job. Because we don't know about all the jobs when we are at school. I mean, my whole roommate is data analyst now. Does all your students in your class know what is a data analyst?
Not really. Not only that, one of my the ex-students, he was working for a farm company in Rungis, and he's like, I was making good money. I'm like, how much was your internship paying you? I nearly started crying when he told me 3,000 euros net. And I'm like, you're making more than me, man. I should work at a farm. He's like, it's amazing. You wake up at 10 o'clock at night, you work till 4 a.m. in the morning, and then you go home and you just chill out. But the guy's paying me well because he needs young people, and no young people is applying. Another guy was working for air charter services with commission. He made more than 3,000 as an attorney. And I said, these jobs exist. It's like, yeah, I love it, man. I make good money. I'm never quitting. So people skip this part. It's like, I'll apply to the sexy job that's in the market for Chanel and, maybe for Louis Vuitton. But everyone is applying. They apply to maybe something that no one is.
That's the thing. One of my best friends is working for Hermes, which is a great luxury house from France. But she's the one who missed all the weekend between friends and all, because she cannot quit earlier on Friday because she can do remote job. And this is kind of old school system.
Right.
And I really think that in our time with the pandemic situation and all, it's really nicer, and you really feel more comfortable with a flexible job or with a company that give you flexibility.
Just a secret now it's not a secret. That's why I chose to become a teacher and no longer work in corporate. Flexible hours. I cannot wake up early in the morning because I am stressed at night because I have to wake up early in the morning so I don't sleep. So, I'm that sort of person. 9 to 5 was not for me. So, and I think for most people too now, they're like, they don't want 9 to 5. One of my friends, he says, Baber, I have to teach a class at 8:30. I said, when do you wake up? He said 8:15. He wakes up at 8:15, 15 minutes before the class. He just comes, sits in front, keeps his camera closed and starts teaching. He likes it. Good for him. It's 1 hour of extra sleep, I suppose. But you've got a good point there. What I will do is maybe interview some students regarding what their job is, or tell them to come in.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I think we'll be glad to do that.
Yeah, definitely. I'll do that. Anyways, once again, thank you very much for your time. And I was thinking it's only take 20 minutes, but it take 1 hour. This is wonderful.
That's because we all talked about.
Yeah, no, this is good stuff. Thank you so much, Olivier. Take care of yourself, all right? Hopefully, I'll see you soon, maybe in Paris, once the pandemic, finishes and I get my vaccination. And yeah, we'll see. All right, keep our fingers crossed. All right, then.
Bye, Baber. Thank you for your time.
Ciao. Take care. Bye-bye.
Ciao.